Hey, Nikki.
Hey, John.
What do you kind of remember from last time's matchup with Ole Miss, and what do you kind of think that the Rebels have done lately that could be problematic for you guys in that game?
I think what I remember is, they changed up their defenses that caused us a little bit of problem. Like I said before, they're very athletic. They did not have, Madison Scott, the freshman, that's, playing really, really well for them, about 6'1", stretch forward for them. But, I mean, they're just playing with a lot of confidence. They beat Kentucky. They just won a big game, on the road against Alabama. So for them, they're still building and just building for the future and just really making some noise and playing with a lot of confidence. Austin is, finding her way and getting acclimated to the SEC, the physical play and all of those things. But again, they've picked up their defense more, but they're just playing with a lot of confidence.
And a quick follow-up to that, you mentioned Shakira Austin there. She's been playing her best basketball of the year over the last couple of weeks. How do you stop someone like that? And how do you kind of game plan for a player that's so skilled in so many different ways?
I said that's the beauty in this league. Every team has somebody or two players on the team that you have to pay attention to. And, for us, it's a team effort. She's playing extremely well as the rest of their players. I think on any given night, anybody can step up, for their team. They share the ball extremely well, but obviously her and Johnson, the offense kind of flows through them. But for us, it's got to be a team effort.
Up next, we'll go to Ben Portnoy.
Nikki, I think you guys had about one game in a matter of like 23 days, and now you've got 5 and 10 days, give or take. I guess just in terms of that balance, and I know you've talked about, wanting to get games for this team, but I guess what's kind of the balance of that, and how do you kind of attack a stretch like that when you're playing as many games as you are in that kind of short of time?
I think this is a way for our kids to just really understand how to prep. You only got 1 or 2 days to prep for a team, so the attention to detail is going to be key. Yes, you will be able to recover. You're just playing more games at a high intense, but the preparation is going to be key. It's kind of like SEC tournament. When you make it to, the championship game, you kind of know you got to be locked in to the scout. And then you just got to rely on what you do well to continue to let that be the foundation of who you are.
And then just a quick follow-up. I know Maya's dealing with an ankle injury. I know she went last night, but how's she kind of responding to that? And I guess what's kind of the process in terms of working her through that while also playing as many minutes as she is?
For us, I haven't gotten the update yet. Usually I get the update right before practice. But I know that her ankle's going to be sore. But, I mean, she's a warrior. I mean, she is. She's going to do whatever she needs to do to be ready to play in any game, just like she was ready to go against Arkansas. So, but we'll be very mindful of her ankle and where it is. But she'll be ready to go.
Up next, we'll go to Joe Coleman.
Hey, Nikki. Just a kind of a general question, I guess a big picture question a little bit and things, but when you have the expectations, I guess, that came with this team this season and things, and you go through kind of the struggles that you all have had the last few weeks, just kind of curious, what's kind of the message that you use to this team? What's kind of the mood right now within the locker room in trying to, obviously nothing's decided, you can still live up to those expectations. Just kind of curious, what's the message? What's the mood? What have you been telling the girls of late as to try to get out of this rut a little bit?
Well, I think for us, it's just winning, one day at a time, continue to improve and get better at the things we need to get better at. Again, really proud of the effort that we had. That's the type of effort and energy, we want to have moving forward. And we want to continue to build off of that. But, our team, they're hungry. We want to win. We want to get a win underneath our belt, because this is what we're accustomed to, is winning. But we have to learn how to win for 40 minutes. And, yesterday we had a good game plan. I thought for 40 minutes over the course of the game, we stuck to it, but we had some mishaps down the stretch, and again, that's experience. That's the more games you're in and the more you're in those situations that you can learn from, and you can show our team, hey, on the road, when you have to win games and you're in these situations, this is where we got to get better at. So, for us, it's just teaching them those moments. But, they're competitors. They want to win. We're going to prep. for the next opponent. And our goal is to go out and win the game.
All right, we'll go to Ben, and then we'll wrap things up with John Sokoloff.
Nikki, I think we've seen Madison's minutes go up pretty heavy. I forget what she had last night, but I think the last 3 or 4 games before that, she'd been up over 20 minutes. Is that by design, or is that just kind of how games have shaken out? And I guess just in that time that she has had, how do you feel like she's responding? What is she kind of giving you?
Yeah, Madison, she's been right around 22, 23 minutes. The way she was defending last night, it was really hard to get her off the floor. But yeah, I mean, she's one of those intangible players, as a freshman, that she's going to get those rebounds. She's going to hit a three here and there. I mean, she just comes out of nowhere and she just get a rebound, and it just gives you energy. And she also is an energy player. She's constantly talking. When somebody does something great, the team has her little slogan, and one, but that's who she is. And you got to have that. But again, a competitive player. And as a freshman, she's had to grow up pretty quickly, in this league, and just, really excited about her and her future.
And kind of to that, I mean, I guess it's a product of just kind of this roster being young, but, players like Madison or Aaliyah, taking a big shot last night. I mean, just how comfortable are you with some of your, freshmen and sophomores being in that position and, for lack of a better term, having to rely on that right now?
Well, I think, especially with what's, gone from last year, you have to do it by committee. I knew that, they were going to sink in on Rakia, because we were trying to get her the ball in the post and her posting up. So Aaliyah had just hit a couple threes, and so did Maya. But Aaliyah had just hit, 2 threes, and I felt like she had the hot hand and got a great look. But, yeah, we're going to rely on them to knock down, shots or make plays. Rely a lot on Madison to guard the best player. And come up with those loose balls and those intangible plays. So, but both of them in particular, are getting those experiences and coming up with those plays for us.
All right, we'll end with John Sokoloff.
Nikki, how would you kind of assess what you've seen from Jess lately, and what do you kind of want to see from her as you guys finish up conference play? What do you want to see her kind of improve on?
I think for Jess, players are going to be very physical with her, and I've said she needs to have balance inside, and outside, meaning dominating in the post, as well as being, finesse. She's one of our better rebounders. Like to see her get a little bit more active, on the defensive end, especially in ball screens. People are starting to really attack us in ball screens, and they're going right at her to try to get her in foul trouble. So have a bigger presence there. But just really want her to continue to, dominate, get to her spots, get 2 feet in the paint, and not let people push her off the block, and settle for those turnaround, jumpers, which is a good shot for her. But, I also want to get her put her in a position where she's getting 2 feet in the paint where we can get and ones, because, when she's that deep, she's pretty efficient.